Consecutive Category 4 hurricane landfalls. The White House dodging questions about whether climate change is to blame, saying the president's focus is on the federal disaster response. So let's discuss now. Bob Inglis, a former Republican congressman from South Carolina, and Myron Ebell, the director of the Center for Energy and Environment with the Competitive Enterprise Institute. They both join us. I appreciated you joining us, gentlemen. Congressman, you first. The Trump administration is avoiding answering questions on climate change in the wake of the hurricanes Harvey and Irma. Before the storm hit, the EPA chief Scott Pruitt said it wasn't the time to talk about that, calling it insensitive. Is he right?
No. If this isn't the time, I don't know what would be the time. The people of Florida, the people of my home state of South Carolina, deserve a government that can do more than just hand them a life jacket as they float out of their houses. They need a government that can think through and accept science and then act on it with wise policy. So they have that expectation of their government.
So why is it so hard to even have a discussion with conservatives or Republicans to even discuss the possibility of climate change? What is that?
Well, it has to do with the activists within the party who have basically been sold a bill of goods about how it's going to destroy the economy or something if we take on climate change, when in fact what it is bedrock conservatism, simply to put all the cost in on all the fuels, eliminate all the subsidies, and then watch the free enterprise system sort out the winners and the losers, not regulating it, not doing an enormously complicated cap and trade system, but it's just a simple attachment of the cost associated with the burning of fossil fuels. Now, there are people who want to fight that because they want to extract the last little bit of economic rent out of burning fossil fuels. And there's some people with some real vested interest that are funding campaigns of disinformation about climate science.
Are you saying that members of your own party don't believe in facts and science?
No, I think it's a third, and a third. The first third actually legitimately are skeptics. That's my friend Senator Inhofe, for example, from Oklahoma. Another third just are consciously disregarding the science. And then yet another third are persuaded that the science is real, but they're just afraid of the activists within the Republican Party who have been ginned up by that machine that's trying to extract that last little bit of economic rent out of these old, outdated technologies.
Interesting. Your point of view, it's very interesting, especially coming from a conservative. Myron, you don't hear that from a conservative all the time. What's your response?
Well, the shameless hucksters of global warming alarmism will take advantage of every natural disaster. I think the Trump administration and EPA Administrator Pruitt are exactly right. This is not the time for idle chatter. It's the time for the government to take action to help restore order and get people back on their feet in Florida and Texas. The fact is that we are in you say, shouldn't we be talking about climate change now? We're in a period of relatively low activity for major hurricanes. We haven't had a Category 3 or above hurricane for 12 years. In the period from 1920 to 1969, we had, according to NOAA, a government agency, we had 10 Category 4 or 5 hurricanes. In the same period, from 1969 to now, we've had 4. So if you think global warming has a direct impact on hurricanes, it must be a pretty good one because we've been in a relatively down phase. I don't believe it. I think it's cyclical. But look, these people always try to take advantage of disasters to say what we need is more government. And just listen to us. If we had listened to Al Gore 12 years ago when he predicted more stronger hurricanes, what do we think of the long period between 2006 and 2017 when we didn't have any hurricanes?
Let me just pose a question to you, just a couple questions. So you don't believe in climate change?
Oh, of course I believe in climate change.
You believe in climate change. And so you don't think that now is a time to talk about it, especially when you have 2 Category 4 storms?
I think this is every time that we have a natural disaster, the people pushing the global warming agenda of higher energy prices and energy rationing try to take advantage of it. And the Trump administration and Administrator Pruitt are exactly right to resist that. This is nothing but boosterism for their cause, based on the sufferings and the disasters of people. It's shameful.
So the climate change agenda would be to what end? To save the planet? What would be the end goal of an agenda for climate change?
Yeah, the proposals of the alarmists, in fact, have almost no effect on the levels of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere. What they do is transfer a huge amount of wealth from industries that make money on their own to industries that can't make money without government mandates and subsidies. And so when Bob Inglis talks about people trying to squeeze the last little bit of profit out of an old industry, look at the huge subsidies that go to wind power, to solar power, to electric vehicles, at the expense of people, of taxpayers and consumers.
Okay.
This is
for the sake of time, I need Bob to respond. Go ahead, Bob, please.
Yeah. So, Myron, let's eliminate all those subsidies, and let's
absolutely,
attach
Bob.
all cost
Let's
to all
do
fuels, and then have full accountability, and so that the burning of fossil fuels would actually be charged with all the health cost associated with those, and the climate damages. Put those on the meter, put those at the pump, eliminate all the subsidies you were just talking about, and you have a smaller government, Myron, not a bigger one. And so what you're doing here is a standard merchants of doubt play, which is generating some fear that, oh my gosh, it's going to be catastrophic to our economy. No, Myron, it's going to expand our economy. It's going to create wealth and jobs if we Americans reinvent energy and sell it around the world. We're energy optimists and climate realists at republicen.org. We're conservatives of the future. Yeah. What you're talking about is the past, Myron. You're talking about holding on to some mythical past that doesn't exist anymore and really never existed. But you're in a strange position, Myron, of basically defending the buggy whip manufacturers when we at republicen.org are talking about the future fuels and future wealth that we're going to generate out of this.
But I appreciate the conversation, and we'll have you gentlemen back. Thank you so much.